Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. Let's get right into the topics of the day. There's no time to lose. The first topic of the day is Evil Dead Rise. I talked a little bit about this before, where Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are producing a new Evil Dead, and I believe it's the sequel to the first Evil Dead movie, the remake rather, not the old one. So we're probably not going to have Ash, as Bruce Campbell is producing, but not starring in it. But this is the new one version. They've started day one, hashtag Evil Dead Rise. The director is Lee Cronin. So hopefully after this we'll see a little bit more of that if you are liking. I love the Evil Dead franchise, the older ones. I even saw the newer one, which was really gross. Really gross. But over the top that it was quite enjoyable as well. So yeah, hopefully you see more Evil Dead. All right, moving on. Illuminati has got a news scoop this time, and they've got an exclusive. Apparently, and I'm going to butcher this name, Tenoch Huerta is playing none other than Namor in Black Panther 2. And there's some intriguing Atlantean supporting cast revealed, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Only that the new Black Panther movie is called Wakanda Forever. It's been said that that was going to have Wakanda versus Atlanteans, and Namor will be playing the antagonist. Now, he is kind of like an anti-hero, as they say, so he's probably not going to stay a bad guy for long, and it's probably, I don't know what's going to be to deal with that, but basically, absolutely Black Panther is still going to be in there, but he's not going to be recast, so we don't have to worry about that. But the story will revolve around Wakanda fighting Atlanteans, which is interesting. I think it's going to be the first time, absolutely the first time, we're going to see Marvel's version of Atlanteans on the big screen. Let's see what they have in store for that one. So that is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and Tenoch Huerta is now playing Namor. And that's Namor. If you haven't seen it, that's I meant to show that, but yeah, that's what he looks like in the Marvel universe. All right, Netflix dropped this cool little episode of Snyder's School, so go ahead and check it out. He goes through different things, how he approaches things, and another video for the Snyder School, which is really awesome, really intriguing, and it's great to see he's having a good time on set with everybody else. But I want to play this clip because it has to do with Man of Steel and that very question that we're talking about: who was in the Kryptonian pod? Here it is.
Play that, please. Play that. In Army of the Dead, there's a lot of Easter eggs in the movie. I think in the first 4 shots, there's a little weirdness in the sky. The zombies have glowing eyes. If you look at the pool scenes, you can see some of them. There's a couple of zombies that when they get killed, something weird happens to them. There's always a question about what is that sort of blue phosphorescence that was that's in Zeus's blood and that's in the baby. These are things to look for and talk about. So it's always fun. What if the crash in the Superman ship, that is whatever thousands of years ago, a Kryptonian scout ship crashed on Earth. Everyone died in the crash. One of the crashes is open and the person's gone. So you're saying that there's a Kryptonian here on Earth somewhere other than Superman. Among my fans, it's a question I get all the time. Who was in the crash? I have a pretty good idea who was in the crash, but I don't know if we'll ever know. I don't know if I'll ever say.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I know I put out that short, but absolutely. So I guess he kind of confirms that it was a Kryptonian in there, and why wouldn't it be? It's a Kryptonian scout ship, but a Kryptonian other than Superman was going to be in there. And we've always talked about this for a long time now, that I believed it was going to be Supergirl. Now, I may have thought that it would have actually been answered in a way during Zack Snyder's Justice League, but that wasn't the case. We don't have any more of the history lesson, and I think later on we'd either find out during Zack Snyder's Justice League, or maybe even the Man of Steel sequel that was supposed to was kind of planned after Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy as well. So I'm wondering who still would that be? Because it's not in the original storyboards. There's no mention of the Kryptonian pod in that. So there had to be something much newer as they were going through the process probably. But would have been. I think he've already known that because Man of Steel was in 2013. So I think he had an idea. Maybe he changed it. I don't know. I'm still kind of thinking it's Supergirl. I know there was a lot of theories that maybe that's Granny Goodness in a way because it's from a long time ago, and maybe Granny Goodness is kind of was Kryptonian based as well because she looks human, which is not, which is different from Steppenwolf and Darkseid. So yeah, that could be the case. I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to restore the Snyderverse so we can actually find out. I think Zack Snyder is still keeping his cards to his chest and still keeping a lot of the secrets of what is supposed to come, just in case Discovery says, hey, I think there is something here. I think we should definitely, utilize that. Maybe we can come in and just pick apart what we want our IPs to be based on, and Snyderverse would definitely be like one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, that is awesome. Let's get the Snyderverse get going because that is a major IP that really worked out for HBO Max. And to prove that it really worked out for HBO Max, well, this is from Flix Patrol. HBO Max is on their website. Apparently, the top 10 on HBO in the world in 2021, and this is for HBO Go. So I don't think it's HBO Max per se, but at least you can kind of see that on HBO it had a lot. What are these numbers? I have no idea if they're in the thousands. So this would be like 15 million because it's already in the thousands. I don't know, but it's a lot. As just looking at the chart, it is much more in 2020, more than any of these movies here on HBO Go, and so that's pretty good. At least for this chart, it looks really awesome. It's number one on that chart indeed. And so we're always thinking like, well, even Discovery, right? When David Zaslav had come in and, he had a presentation with John Stankey. And like I said many times, they put Zack Snyder's Justice League as one of their major IPs that seemed important to them, a big thing for them, and things that they want to concentrate on. So in my heart, I believe, and I'm optimistic, maybe just like Zack Snyder, that Discovery will be the ones that can restore the Snyderverse once David Zaslav comes in. Now, there was a scoop from John Aaron Garza and on Ben Everett's Real Anarchy, a Real Emotion podcast that just happened today, and I got to listen in the background, and he said something his sources have said, that David Zaslav is coming in coming in to clean house, that he is there to clean house. He's not going to stay for long. Apparently, he's just, something that John Stankey and Jason Kylar don't have, quote unquote, the balls to do, but David does. So he's in there. He's going to go in and he's going to clean house. And I'm kind of thinking that could actually be very true, because within the article, when they talked about David Zaslav and who he is and stuff like that, he's very sharp. He wants to make sure he gets the right people, and he's not afraid to move pieces. He's not afraid to grab the right people and take out the wrong people. He's very quick on his feet. He's a trigger happy, kind of person. So, and I'm like, when I read that in that article, I think it was Variety, and I'm like, oh, okay. So we might be looking at a guy who's ready to just like jump in, just, clean the slate, and then pick and choose who he wants to be the execs for Warner Brothers, Warner Media, etc., and for the people who take charge of HBO Max. Now, if that's the case, I am excited. I'm excited. I hope that happens like next year or even this year. And if that's the case, then that's good, because we can't restore the Snyderverse unless we take out the execs who don't want the Snyderverse to happen or exist or even want to even have it on their plate whatsoever. So until we can restore the Snyderverse, we got to get rid of some people. And I'm hoping, and if Garza is right, then he's there to clean house. And that could spell great things for the Snyderverse. Great things for Zack Snyder to come in happily, feel like he's, at least knowing full well that he's going to be in charge of his own projects. No one's going to tell him what to do to a certain extent, and they'll happily let him allow him to continue Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 and maybe more stuff. So hopefully that happens. Crossing all fingers and toes, like I said. But if Garza's right, I can't wait for David Zaslav to clean house. Let's have those headlines. Toby Emmerich is gone. Something like that. Please. All right. Since we're talking about DC now and possibly changing of Warner Brothers forever, Luis Fernando says Emerald Fennell, a director of the brilliant, promising young woman who is writing the Zatanna movie, one of the next DC films, told Empire that this film will be her opportunity to make something big, scary, really dark, and that's why the project is so appealing to her. Okay, cool. So, now, I think they're still writing it. They haven't actually greenlit the project yet, but they did put one of the titles for AT&T to say that these are one of the DC movies and that we're definitely going to make. And big, scary, and really dark. Okay, that's good. If they really want to do that, if they're really going to do that, that's awesome. JJ is good at, and he's producing, by the way. JJ has produced Lovecraft Country. That's big. That was scary. That was really dark. And if Zatanna can even come close to that, that's great. We don't need kid-friendly movies all the time. Sometimes, in fact, for a little bit, that DC has become kind of known as a more mature franchise in terms of the movie world anyway. And so that's how they're going to play it. I'm all okay with that. Doesn't mean they can't have light and bright movies like the Shazam, even though that had a lot of mature and dark elements in it as well. But I'm liking that. Zatanna, magic, it can be scary, it can be really dark. Let's see what happens with this movie. So, we have a lot of talk about the Suicide Squad. That's coming out in August, right? And for a while, we've talked about how is the Suicide Squad really a sequel to Suicide Squad? And people kept saying this is a reboot to Suicide Squad, so people are freaking out like they're not going to use any of David Ayer's. Is Rick Flag the same Rick Flag from the first Suicide Squad and Harley Quinn, or is this a reimagining of their character? Once again, Amanda Waller, whatever. But according to this character card for Rick Flag specifically, it actually hints or even tells you straight that this is coming off from David Ayer's Suicide Squad. As you see here, Rick Flag's tough exterior and dedication to the service make the West Point graduate the perfect candidate to lead a supervillain task force. Assigned to Argus by director Amanda Waller, Flag has remained loyal to his ruthless boss and the task at hand. He assisted her in recruiting a team of prisoners for Task Force X. The by-the-books military specialist fell in love with June Moon. Yeah, June Moon, the Enchantress from the first movie. After freeing her from possession of the mystical being Enchantress, a mission that proved himself worthy of becoming the field leader for Task Force X's next job, destroying Jotunheim, the old Nazi-built prison experiment facility, freeing its war prisoners, and taking down its current tyrannical director, Silvio Luna. So, right there. He fell in love with June Moon. Everything, that's the exact plot that would happen in the first David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So, in my mind, now it's pretty much solidifies that this does in fact take place after David Ayer's Suicide Squad. They're not erasing that canon, which a lot of people were kind of wondering. I mean, I remember when, was it Toby Emmerich says, this is a reboot of Suicide Squad, and then somehow later it's not. And it's like, oh, okay, well that's, somebody in there is trying to keep it canon. It almost feels like, whoever it is or whatever is happening, because whatever Toby Emmerich says in that one report back then when they announced this thing, this is a Suicide Squad reboot Suicide Squad and everything, it feels like there's some producers and maybe even, James Gunn himself, who is keeping it the same. He's trying, maybe someone trying their best. Or was that always their intention? I don't know. But at least, for now, reading a simple character card that may not even translate to the movie. They might not mention it at all, understandably, but from the looks of these character card, at least, it seems like James Gunn is taking this Rick Flag and all these characters from the first Suicide Squad and continuing their arc, per se. Let's see, he survives, though. He may not live. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, so this is coming from DC Versal. This is a rumor. And once again, Daniel RPK claims Christian Bale is still in talks for a cameo in The Flash. Now, he talked about that before. I also reported before that Christian Bale was rumored to be cameoing in The Flash, but maybe things have fallen through. And he did go, shoot Thor: Love and Thunder. That's done. That's wrapped. So there, you can have a little scene. He could potentially come over and film on The Flash just for a little bit as a cameo, just to say, okay, there was a Christian Bale Batman in in another multiverse, and that still exists. That could still go on. Whether that happens, we don't know yet. They're still in talks, according to Daniel RPK. So let's see what happens. Maybe we'll find out more, or not at all. Maybe not until the movie we actually see him. But maybe DC Fandom has more answers for us. All right, well, let's get into the Batman. Now, before I click on over, let me hide that for a second. The next story is information about the Batman. No, this is not about the rumors about how it's terrible and stuff like that. I have a separate video for that I'll cover. But this is actually about the leaks that have come out from the Batman in terms of the characters and some of the plot. Now, this is just Reddit rumors per se, but some people said this is some of it is actually accurate. So I'm going to talk about it right now in this chapter. If you don't want to learn or know anything about Matt Reeves' The Batman at all, you can either go to the members' comments and questions, or that's pretty much it for the stories for today. So if you're still here, here are the leaks from The Batman, and here we go. Some information about the Batman. Okay, I have to say something. Don't believe every BS you read about the Batman. Nothing I ever read on this subreddit or Twitter comes close to the actual plot of the movie. It's way deeper and more complex than any of the spoilers you find on the internet. I will share some things about the movie with you. First of all, Batman does not kill. He is tempted to, though, and that is a big part of his arc and inner struggle. Batman does not get a second suit. The suit you see in the trailer is the one he wears for the entire film. Some goes to Riddler and Catwoman, who is not called Catwoman till the third act. Selina Kyle is not Falcone's daughter. She is his woman. It's an abusive relationship. She hates him and even tried to kill him at some point, explaining the scars on his face. Alfred looks nothing special, just short hair and a beard. Jeffrey Wright is perfect as Gordon. He is not a commissioner yet. Obviously, he is respected and detective and one of the few clean cops left in the GCPD. I'm wondering if I'm cutting off something here. Oh, I am. 1 second. Move that up. Okay. Oops. And then he's respected detective. Okay. Oz hates being called Penguin, as Matt Reeves said during DC Fandom. He's Falcone's right-hand man. He's secretly planning to take Falcone down. He runs a parallel drug operation that goes wrong, the scene we see in the trailer. Bruce is still building the Batmobile in the first act. In the Batbike is way too exposed, which is one of the reasons why he builds the Batmobile. The top of the Batmobile does not open in half. He enters it by jumping through the window, like this. I guess it was a gift there. No Firefly. Oh, that's interesting. No Joker, no Harvey Dent, although he is mentioned. Gotham is dark, dirty, claustrophobic, overpopulated, and broken. No investment, which is why the cars and buildings look old. Another problem is the floods. It rains a lot in Gotham, and there's a reason why it rains a lot. Gives me 7 vibes. I can imagine that, and you can see that in the trailer. The Batcave, it's an abandoned subway station. It was a Wayne Enterprise project, but it was discontinued after their deaths. If I remember correctly, some of the set photos that got leaked last year were from an underground tunnel. These tunnels are all connected to the subway station, Batcave, Bruce operates from, which gives him easy access to different locations throughout the city. you'll see that a lot of things Bruce uses are somehow connected to his parents. For example, the car he transforms into the Batmobile was his father's favorite car, and also the one they drove to the theater the night they were murdered. The Corvette he drives is also from his father's collection. Gotham City Hall, where the funeral we saw in the trailer is held, was one of the sets built inside the Cardington shed. Parts of Gotham were also built there. Oh, and about Edward Nashton, if I say anything about his past or who he is, I will be giving away too much about the plot. Okay, so there's still like non-spoilery stuff in here. But trust me, Paul Dano is brilliant. To me, he is Heath Ledger Joker level of brilliance. Rob is great. It's like he was born to play Batman. Don't believe those rumors about him not working out or not committing to the role. He's committed. It's him fighting in most of the fight scenes. About his fighting style, it's a mix of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Krav Maga, and Jeet Kune Do. Well, I think that's it. You don't have to believe anything I said. Just wait and see for yourselves. So aside from this, it sounds pretty exciting. I'm wondering, and it's very simple. I mean, to be honest, like a lot of this you can probably grab from the trailer and the behind the scenes and make some stuff up. And so it's not too spoilery. It's just context for certain things. But I like what I'm seeing here. I really do. And that's interesting that he puts that out. Batman does not kill. I guess we'll just have to wait and find out when we watch The Batman. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.